Good morning from sunny Seattle once again. Yesterday I tried leaving a video and it was rather frustrating because I tried to post it all day and it just what I tried to do was save it and my computer was tripping and and I couldn't and because I would have liked to I had gotten a good space along and such, and I didn't want to have to redo it and try to do the same thing because you see what I do. I start getting off topic and yeah, but yesterday it was a very overcast, dreary Seattle day, which would be typical for this time of the year. But what was really interesting that I can share today that was not typical was so it started out that way. It brightened up in the afternoon, and then it just torrential. It was not torrential rains. That's usually what they say for rain. It was a shower of hail, a hailstorm, and it was crazy. Yeah, at the end of August. So yeah, that was a little interesting tidbit. News from Seattle over here. So, good morning again. And I hope you're ready for getting more into this first chapter of Samuel. When first chapter of First Samuel, when I left off, I think I was commenting that I thought that Elkanah, well, I guess what I thought was that Hannah was talking to Elkanah, her husband, but she was talking to Eli, the prophet. So, because I was thinking in their culture, it may have been that they referred to their husband, called them Lord. So, or I think she said, "I'm your humble servant," or something like that. Let's see what she says. I'll reread that part. She said, verse 18, she said, "May your servant find favor in your eyes." Then she went her way and ate something, and her face was no longer downcast. Early the next morning, they arose and worshipped before the Lord, and then went back to their home at Ramah. Elkanah made love to his wife Hannah, and the Lord remembered her. So, in the course of time, Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, "Because I asked the Lord for him." And I looked up that reference, which is Samuel sounds like the Hebrew for heard by God. I thought that was cool. Even though I have a brother named Samuel and I never knew that before. Um, Verse 21. When her husband Elkanah went up with all his family to offer the annual sacrifice to the Lord and to fulfill his vow, Hannah did not go. She said to her husband, "After the boy is weaned, I will take him and present him before the Lord, and he will live there always." Wow. And there's a reference there too, which I'd like to read. I know I'm not keeping my promise, and I think I'm going to read the very next reference. Not a promise, but I just said if it was important, I would read the references. So let's go to B, which is, and he will live there always. It says the Masoretic texts or Dead Sea Scrolls, always I have dedicated him as a Nazarite all the days of his life. So I think this was important because I did refer to, I wonder if it's, something in the Israelite culture, because she's not going to cut his hair the same way that Samson's parents did as a Nazarite. So that explains that he was also a Nazarite. So let's go. Let's see. Okay. Do what's, as in verse 23, do what seems best to you, her husband Elkanah told her. Stay here until you have weaned him. Only may the Lord make good his word. And that's the other reference that I wanted to go to, because it says, may the Lord make good his word. But the reference C does say, Masoretic text, Dead Sea Scrolls, Septuagint, and Syriac say your, for instead of his word, but your word. Just because, it did seem that